Hello, hello, and welcome to another big vlog update. It's been a minute since the last one. I think the last one I did was shortly after the Starseeds Wanted, Enquire Within experimental electronic album release, and shortly before the official music video for its lead single Saturn in Chinos was going to be released. So, needless to say, a lot has happened since then. And first and foremost, I want to thank everybody so much for listening to the album, watching the music video, interacting with it, sharing your thoughts, sharing the album or the music video or tracks or all of the above with friends. It's hugely appreciated and a massive help as well. So I just want to say thank you once again for all of that. It's amazing and hugely appreciated. A lot of big stuff and fun stuff has been happening since then, of course. I very excitingly got invited to do a full album walkthrough for Chris Redjam's SoundCheck radio program, which is a syndicated radio segment that he runs in various stations across the UK and the US each week. And back in May, I got to do pretty much an hour-long walkthrough of the entire album. I got to dive into all of the tracks in detail as well as play the tracks sequentially one after another, unpacking the entire album with fun little tidbits and stories around all of that. So massive thank you again to Chris for that opportunity, and it was so well received. So many people said they really enjoyed listening to it. They found it interesting to hear about my process, and they got a few chuckles as well out of some of the stories. So I will try to remember to pop a link to that down below. It is on the radio segment program platform that Chris uses, as well as now he uploaded it to his YouTube channel. And so I think I'll probably link to that just because he enjoyed it so much. He asked if he could upload it to his YT as well. So, of course, I said yes. And other than that, I also kindly was invited by Melbourne Musicians to do a self-interview with a few questions that they sent through, and they asked if I could record myself, and then they could use it as sort of Instagram reel material. And so, of course, again, I said yes, and also took them quite literally when they said self-interview. So I got myself a blonde mullet wig, a fake mustache, a top hat, and some sunglasses, and just had a lot of fun with that whole concept of a self-interview. And I'll pop a link to that as well down below. It's that one I've uploaded the full clip to my YouTube channel here as well, and it's also on the Melbourne Musicians Instagram if anyone prefers Instagram for whatever reason. So there's that, and that was so much fun. And just overall, so much positive feedback. Really heartened to learn about the different ways that the various tracks on the album connected with people. Pretty much every track was someone's favorite, which was also really amazing because that means that I kind of succeeded in putting forward a kind of cornucopia of offerings that was broad enough in kind of feel and aim and vibe that, you know, there was something in it for everyone. Everyone found a track that they really enjoyed, which was amazing. I'm so grateful again that that was able to happen, and hugely grateful, of course, to everyone who helped make it happen. It was definitely not a one-person show, right? There was Deese with the mixing and mastering of the whole thing. Absolute brilliant work, and production assistance from all kinds of different people on various different tracks. And so yeah, just such an incredible experience, and I'm really excited now to move on from that by building up from it, and also taking what I've learned throughout that process and applying it to new areas, new pursuits. So I'm kind of moving now from a broadcast kind of stage, I don't know, to more of a reception and integration stage. And really, in keeping with that, I've decided to actually tone back my presence online even more. So I haven't been posting a lot on, well, it depends on the week. I sometimes post more often than I do other times on Instagram, but I've also just fully shut down my Facebook because that was just a giant time waster for me. The return of, what I was getting out of Facebook was in no way worth all of the sort of energy drain and toxic content and just spam bots ridiculousness that had become Facebook. And so I just closed that down completely. And I am going to be reducing my presence on definitely here on YouTube and maybe Instagram, we'll see. But I've decided to stop with the weekly vocal covers, which I think I've had a pretty good run of those. I have been posting a vocal cover practice segment on this YouTube channel every single week for nearly 2 years now. I think that's a pretty good run. And I've decided that this last one this week, which was Lost in My Mind by Rufus Du Sol, that is going to be my last of the vocal cover run. So I'm sure maybe in future I will, post an odd vocal cover practice segment here and there. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's time for me to step away from that. I will of course continue to practice and develop my voice, but really it's more for my own enrichment, right? Especially at this stage when I'm not actively trying to engage or sort of build on a presence online at the moment. I feel like my attention and my time will be better spent really focusing back on the skill development as well as other areas to explore or to revisit. So for example, I'm really keen to kind of explore fresh modalities in a variety of, I guess, arenas. So I mentioned actually recently kind of exploring performance. I've started doing poetry nights, actually, which has been so much fun, getting to share poems that I've written recently and over the years, as well as presenting in spoken form the lyrics of my songs, which has also been very interesting, taking a sung piece and recontextualizing it for a spoken word delivery situation has been so interesting. And I also I also have been writing more recently, like more things recently. I've gotten back into writing, which is amazing, and I want to have more time for that. So that means definitely paring back, I think, on my online activity in general. And so that's kind of where I'm sitting at the moment. I think I've covered everything. I'm just checking my ridiculously scribbled notes here. You probably can't even see it because sun glare or something, but I assure you there are words on that very blindingly white page. And yeah, I think that covers the main points I wanted to share with everybody. And so beyond that, really, I think the next thing that I want to do, now that I think of it, will be a good way to kind of introduce this fresh chapter in what I'm doing and what I'm pursuing. So I'm going to read you the piece that I actually specifically wrote for my very first of those poetry reading nights. So let me just dig it up on my phone here. I'm sure it is very, very close to the, should be fairly close to the top of this list. Found it. Okay. So what I will do is read you Genevieve Sovereign, 2025-0701. Expectant breaths pass between them, jostling dust motes that hover patiently like aimless vortices of weathered glitter, whose shine and mass fade with time while they wait. Gently humming ventilation drones a flawless sound field that blends seamlessly with the evening traffic and urban ambience, drifting ceaselessly from outside into their space. Eyes meeting sporadically under spotlights that heat an intimate winter gathering of muffled, half-listening conversation and distraction by phone light, with a vague presence that seems soothing yet bemusing in its aims. What is it? Why is it here? The audience shifts idly, curious mildly at the point of it all. Is there a punchline coming? An epic reveal? The punniest of all dad jokes about to drop? Or maybe she's just testing, seeing how much of what she can get away with here. You see, this is her very first public reading ever. She's been wondering what to expect, but knowing that it'd be at least a tiny bit special, she wanted to share this adventure with you all, partially through, but also mostly in front of, her eyes, so that she could keep tabs on you. Yeah, I'm watching you lot. And I've got to say, this is both exactly and also nothing like how I'd imagined it might be, for which I am grateful. Thank you so much for being here with me for my first ever poetry reading. It is deeply appreciated, and I am looking forward to reconnecting with you at some point in future, howsoever it might occur.